Good evening. This is Yin Yang in California. Today we're reading a little bit of what Dr. George J. Chanos has said in Millennial Samurai, Book 1, A Mindset for the 21st Century. It's on the Second Amendment. Quote, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, capital S, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Now, this was in the time of the slave trade. They were trying to catch escaped slaves and needing the militia. It relied on militia, like local militia, to go and capture the slaves because they knew what they looked like. So, a well regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state meant the people who had slaves did not want to lose them. So, they wanted security that way. But this is a different interpretation than what I am reading now. I'm going to read to you what George J. Chanos wrote. He wrote, the Second Amendment, and quoted it. The Second Amendment is one of the most important, yet at the same time, one of the most divisive and misunderstood amendments to the U.S. Constitution. Many passionately believe that our right to bear arms makes us safer rather than less safe. Others reject that assertion and claim the opposite is true. In District of Columbia versus Heller, 554 U.S. 570, year 2008, Justice Scalia, writing for a 5-4 majority, stated that the Second Amendment, quote, protects an individual right to possess a firearm unconnected with service in the militia. This clearly establishes that the right to bear arms is an individual right. But what is the scope of that individual right? Is it the right to own and use any weapon for any purpose whatsoever? No, it is not, nor should it be. In Heller, Justice Scalia, writing for the majority, stated, like most rights, the right secured by the Second Amendment is not unlimited. Hello. It is not a right to keep and carry any weapon whatsoever in any manner whatsoever and for whatever purpose. The Second Amendment does not protect those weapons not typically possessed by law abiding citizens for lawful purposes. Under our system of government, this is the law. Okay, Chloe, what's up? Oh boy. In considering how we as a society should exercise and apply our rights under the Second Amendment, it is important to understand that the right to bear arms, like any other constitutional right, is not an unlimited right. In any society, you are from Brazil. Hi. In Brazil, you are probably 4 hours ahead of us. Am I right? It is currently 6:45 p.m. where I am right now. What time is it where you are, Isis? In any society, all individual rights are subject to certain inherent limitations that are required to protect the rights of others. In other words, for example, if I say your right to swing your arm ends at my nose. Your right to swing your arm ends where my nose begins. That's what it is. Your right to swing your arm ends where my nose begins. Something like that. Anyway, back to the author. He says the question that we should be asking is should military assault should military style assault weapons and high capacity magazines. The book is about a mindset for the 21st century for millennial samurai. What we are facing now is very different from what we've faced before. And so he goes to every topic. This is chapter 137, and this is called the Second Amendment. His whole chapter will be 3 pages long, and I've gone through the beginning of the book. And through many of these chapters, he's got some genius ideas. Genius, I tell you. If we would all be only as smart as he is. I say that with great respect. Okay, in any society, all individual rights are subject to certain inherent limitations that are required to protect the rights of others. The question that we should be asking is, should military style assault weapons and high capacity magazines be the means by which we protect ourselves? Do these military style assault weapons and high capacity magazines make our families and society as a whole safer or less safe? Do any of us even want to live in a neighborhood where our neighbors and their children may have access to an AR-15 without having undergone any meaningful training, certification, and or background checks? Based on a fair reading of Heller, the court case, this is not what the Second Amendment requires, nor what sound policy dictates. I agree. Stomach book lover, less safe. It's because there are guns. Hey, put a bunch of guns in a room full of people at a party, what's going to happen? But if you didn't put the guns there, what would happen? Right? The American Bar Association reports, according to the author, that American children are 12 times more likely to die from gun related injuries than are youth in all other industrialized countries combined. So why is it that we can't get Congress to pass any meaningful gun control legislation? Why don't we, at a minimum, require universal background checks and some basic training, licensing, and or certification to own a, quote, military style assault weapon, end quote, and or high capacity magazines? Why are sensible solutions demonized as insurrection-worthy assaults on the Second Amendment? The Latin phrase cui bono, C-U-I, next word B-O-N-O, asks, who stands to benefit? Yeah, you're right. I mean, there would be shots fired because the guns are there. And if the guns aren't there, there wouldn't be shots fired. That's why a country like Japan says there's no way that they would keep guns. Japan has zero tolerance for guns. So anyway, that's what it is. You have guns, you have eggs, you're gonna have, you have eggs, you're gonna have splatters. You know what I mean? You don't have eggs, you might not have a sticky floor. And okay, cui bono, for whom is there a benefit? And that is precisely what we should be asking when we see common sense solutions being ignored or vilified. In 2011, NRA CEO Wayne LaPierre told a conservative audience that President Obama, once reelected, planned to, quote, erase the Second Amendment from the Bill of Rights and exorcise it from the U.S. Constitution, end quote. You know, they used to treat him like he was some kind of witch doctor just because he was black. Stupid people. Anyway, let's not call people stupid. Let's just say that people do stupid things. And people are not stupid. People sometimes do stupid things. Like today, I did something really boneheaded. I hit my head on the wall. That's boneheaded, right? In the back to the author, the 2008, I'm glad you agree with me. The 2008 and 2012 elections of Barack Obama and the panic created by gun advocates surrounding Obama's efforts at gun legislation triggered unprecedented increases in gun sales and profits. Cui bono? The gun industry benefits. From Obama's first inauguration to the day before Newtown, which is where all those 5-year-old kids got shot, the share price of Sturm Ruger RGR, the largest largest publicly traded gun manufacturer, increased by 729%. That means it went up more than 7 times. The S&P 500 increased only 67% during the same period. Increased hysteria equals increased sales and profits. Thank you. I appreciate that. I would love that. I would love that too. Successfully resolve, it will make a difference to me if people come and subscribe to me, and look for me on Substack as Yin Yang 31. It's a good luck number in Chinese. I like it. I'm also Yin Yang too, but I forgot about it. So Yin Yang 31 is just fine. Successfully resolving these issues will not be easy. It will require education, understanding, engagement, accountability, and compromise. Above all, compromise. This is not an all or nothing issue. Those who call for wide-ranging restrictions on guns are as wrong as those who call for no restrictions on guns. Educating yourself with regard to these issues will allow you to deal with these issues more intelligently and effectively. That's true for anything in life. The more you study it, the better you are at being. Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. I love that. You're the best reader ever, she says. That is nice. Thank you so much. And I do say things, but back to the author for the moment. Understanding and appreciating alternative perspectives will allow you to engage in a dialogue aimed at constructive compromise. Increased engagement will allow all positions to be heard and ultimately force responsible elected representatives to take appropriate corrective action. Unfortunately, not all elected representatives are responsible or responsive. Therefore, in the final analysis, requiring accountability from those that you elect to represent your interests is the only thing that will create real change. We must learn to reject hyperbole. Hyperbole is like saying, I ran 1,000,000 miles. That I do too. I ran 1,000,000 miles. That's called hyperbole. We must learn to reject hyperbole and avoid derision. Derision is when um not sure what derision is. It's like it means when you really don't like somebody. I don't know. Oh, shit, I should have looked at the body. We must examine issues rationally and objectively. We must recognize the dangers created by misinformation while respecting, considering, and being open to discussing alternative views. We must look beyond our divergent positions and search for common interests. you know, 2 more paragraphs to go. Fortunately, our most fundamental interest, the safety and security of our families, is a shared interest. I mean, who wouldn't think that, right? We simply have differing views on how to advance that shared interest. Society needs and deserves intelligent decisions. We don't need hyperbole, rigidity, hysteria, or deception. These are difficult questions upon which reasonable minds may differ. We all need to recognize that there are very compelling arguments on both sides of this issue. Well, I mean, on the one hand, when the police are minutes away and you need them to be in seconds. Thank you. Please do subscribe to me. Subscribe. I love new subscriptions. Every day I see some and I go, yay, yay. I started out really slow. I actually thank you so much, Stomach Club Lover. And I I'm trying to figure out this AI. Oh my goodness gracious. Give me a stomach ache, will you? Oh, yeah, yeah. I don't know how. I just don't like it. I mean, I think it just means that once the machines learn everything about us, they're going to try to erase us. That's the thing. But we need to learn how to use AI, that is for sure. And I would like to be able to go live on Substack, which means I need to have 10 subscribers over there, which I don't yet. I'm really glad that YouTube is expanding a little. I currently show this on Facebook and YouTube on House Cat Tracks and um, Yin Yang 753531. So it's 753, odd numbers coming down from 7, and then repeat these 5 and 3 and 1. 7, 5, 3, 5, 3, 1. Who would know? I mean, gosh, what do you know? All these, there are like that many yin yangs. Can you believe it? And it's really my name. It's really a part of my name. So I deserve to keep mine. I want everybody to have a good evening. I do show a book on Instagram these days, and I will be over there. You can find me under Yin Yang, except that it looks like it flies over an M with 2 underscores. So it's Ying underscore M underscore Yang. You know, I couldn't decide what to do with that name there. So I'm going to try to consolidate and eventually go to a single platform. And, ooh, I've been talking for 16 minutes. Sorry. Okay. Well, you guys have a good evening. And I talk about James Monroe, the 8th president of the United States, who was from Kinderhook, New York, which is where we get old Kinderhook from, which is where we get okay. Okay? Old Kinderhook.